Goku and Vegeta have a new challenge ahead of them now, and that is Black Frieza. So check out the brand new Black Frieza merchandise from the Geekdom 101 store. We have various different shirts, and you can get sweaters and all kinds of different types of clothing and other things as well in various sizes. You don't want to miss getting your hands on the first piece of Black Frieza merchandise and represent the return of the Emperor. Click the link down below in the description and get yours today, and let's get to the video. The Dragon Ball Super manga is back after a 3-month break, and we're going to begin the new Dragon Ball Super superhero arc, focusing on Goten and Trunks and later Gohan and Piccolo, which is going to be a prequel to Dragon Ball Superheroes. So it's going to be basically the story of the film adapted to the manga with prequel events to tie in the Granola arc with superheroes. So what we have here today are the early draft pages for Dragon Ball Superhero, the arc, the first chapter, chapter 88. It comes out in about 1 week. Of course, we will have spoilers here on the channel if we get them out, and scans and whatnot if they leak. So make sure that you're subscribed and make sure that you have notifications turned on, not only on your phone, but also on your YouTube. If you're having issues, unsub, then resub and hit the bell, and you should be okay. So, like I said, the story here is they're trying to get us from granola to superhero. And if you remember, and by the way, we're going to go into this now, so if you do not want to be spoiled at all, you already know what to do. This is just going to be the draft for the early parts of the chapter. So, what happened in the last chapter, chapter 87, is Black Frieza showed up, Frieza's new transformation, and he one-shotted Ultra Instinct Goku and Ultra Ego Vegeta. Straight up just knocked them the hell out. After that, or during that time, he also wound up taking out Elec, and he took out Gas. And he took the remaining heaters with him. So Whis shows up, and they take Goku and Vegeta back, and they're wondering about whether or not Black Frieza is the villain, the strongest in the universe, and Whis suspects it may be somebody else, which a lot of people have said that it could be Gohan. So we're going to go ahead and get to it here. This image you see on your screen is basically what looks like to be a splash page, kind of covering the early part of the arc. I am curious about where this is going. We see Goten and Trunks there, and it looks like on the left there we have Dr. Hedo. So I wonder if they're going to be interacting. That would change the story of the movie, but it is what it is. So right here, let's get to it. It says here, the previous Granola, the Survivor arc concluded after telling the epic tale of Granola, a Cerealian who went on a quest for revenge against Frieza and the Saiyans after his civilization was destroyed by the Frieza Force years ago. The conclusion of this story also had dire consequences for Goku, Vegeta, and their allies. Frieza suddenly appeared, debuting his new terrifying, powerful Black Frieza form, and effortlessly dealt a fatal blow to Gas, who was supposed to be the strongest warrior in the universe. We found out that Frieza was training in the Room of Spirit and Time, aka the hyperbolic time chamber, or a dimension similar to it, for 10 years. Which is a very, very long time to train. So moving on here, it says here, the new superhero arc is as a prequel to the events of Dragon Ball Superhero, and picks up where the Granola arc left off. I told y'all a year ago that superheroes after Granola, but people don't want to listen. The story is set back on planet Earth and focuses on Trunks and Goten, who are having some heroic escapades of their own. So if we go down here, let's take a real good look at these early drafts. Now, I'm gonna watch a movie later. We saw this yesterday when the early draft page came out, where we have basically Vegeta, you know, sort of in the shadow of Black Frieza. Things are back to how they were in early DBZ, where you have Goku and Vegeta, even though at this point Vegeta is fully a good guy. At that point, he was an anti-hero, and they're basically dealing with a more powerful Frieza, who now is way more powerful. So there's the splash page, and it looks like we open up already on Earth with Goten and Trunks apparently already wearing superhero outfits. So I was figuring that maybe they would do a thing where we see Goten and Trunks like sort of getting inspired by Great Saiyaman or the things that Gohan did in the past, and they wanted to kind of be their own heroes, and they would focus on that. But it looks like Toyotaro is jumping right in. Like, we're jumping right into Goten and Trunks. being heroes. Moving on here, what this looks to be, again, very, very similar to those early Gray Saiyaman episodes of Dragon Ball Z, which had tons of filler, but it was good filler, where we saw Gohan, excuse me, we saw Gohan basically as Great Saiyaman taking it to the criminals of the street. This looks to be a heist. Reminds me a lot of the Satan City stuff from Dragon Ball Z, the early DBZ, where you have criminals and you have, just basic stuff, and then Goten and Trunks to the rescue. I'm going to get translations for all of this here shortly. Of course, guns, as you can see right there, are not going to work. I don't know about you guys, but I love that early Gray Saiyaman filler. Like, some of you guys have not seen that since it first aired back in the 2001 or whatever. And if you haven't seen it for a long time, you definitely want to check it out, because a lot of that stuff is really funny. Gohan in high school with the teddy bear underwear and they're going on dates. That slice of life stuff is something that Dragon Ball, I feel, does very, very well. So, of course, Goten and Trunks, as you can see right here, smashing these criminals up. There's nothing at all here yet that ties into the film. I'm not seeing anything with the Red Ribbon. Doesn't appear to be, these criminals do not appear to be from the Red Ribbon. They're just random crooks. And here we have Goten and Trunks dispatching them rather easily. So we are starting this arc very, I guess the lighthearted would be the right term. We're starting it very lighthearted. And as you can see here, they got cool capes. They got wacky retro outfits. They really are a lot like Gamma 1 and 2. And I wonder if Dr. Hedo, if maybe he gets inspired to create Gamma 1 and 2 by seeing these guys on TV. That could be like, obviously we know from the film that there is a real Gamma hero, Ultraman lookalike, that Dr. Hedo based him off of. But I do wonder if maybe when he sees Goten and Trunks, he's like, you know what, maybe I should do 2 Gammas. But I'm not really sure. And here we have Goten and Trunks with the classic thumbs up. The heroes saving the city. Just real basic stuff, man. And I like when they're starting the arc like this, because we know the more heavy stuff is coming later, like Gammas and Cell Max and Piccolo and Gohan. But so far, this, fun, superhero stuff seems pretty cool, as you can see right here. And really, I'll be honest with y'all, I feel like Goten, mostly Goten, although Trunks may also fit this criteria, I feel like they really need more characterization. I'm kind of tired of them just being one half of Gotenks. I like it when they actually have some characterization. So, like I said, I'm going to get translations for all of this very, very, very soon. We actually are getting quite a few draft pages. And as you can see right here, folks, Goten is communicating. Look at the right there on the panel. He's communicating with Chi-Chi. So, again, these are drafts, so the final art will look better. But I love this so far because he's communicating with Chi-Chi, and it basically means that she's yelling at him, most likely. So we haven't seen Chi-Chi in a while. We saw her briefly in the Granola arc when the Heaters went to Earth, and we all thought they were going to, hurt her. I was, thinking, okay, where are they going with this? But that didn't happen. Nonetheless, she's back here, and that's okay. So it says right here, I'm going to go to the translations here in a second. It says right here, as you can see in the panels above, Trunks and Goten are busy defending the city as the mysterious hero Saiyaman X1 and Saiyaman X2. Trunks seems to have his heart set on battling some truly evil baddies, but what sort of events are in store for these 2 teenage half-Saiyan heroes? Check out the rest of the story. So now we know they're called Saiyaman X1 and Saiyaman X2. So here we have the Herm's translations for what's going on in the chapter, and now we'll get a better understanding. So he writes here, the roughs are out for DBS Chapter 88. Previously on Dragon Ball Super, Goku and Vegeta fought Gas, got beat by Black Frieza, and have returned to Beerus' planet in order to continue their training in order to defeat Frieza. Meanwhile, on Earth, one oddity, Planet Cereal, is referred to as Planet Sirius, presumably a mistake that will be fixed in the finished chapters. There's an error there. Again, I don't read Japanese, man, so I don't read kanji very well, so I wouldn't have been able to spot that. So he goes on to say Saiyaman X1 and X2, which looks, dude, it sounds like they're copying Mega Man, like Rockman X, Mega Man X, you know what I mean? Anyways, Saiyaman X1 and X2 introduce themselves. They're here to clean up evil. They knock over Come Jewel Thief's car. I don't know if he messed up there. In West City's Mosquito Town. Okay, so that's who the robbers are. These jewelry thieves. The thieves note that these must be the weirdos who've been acting like heroes in West City lately. Damn crazy kids. Okay, so that reveals that Goten and Trunks have already been heroes. So this is not an origin story. This is not a situation where they're going to get inspired to become heroes and that becomes their story. They literally have already been heroes. And that's interesting. That is very interesting, y'all. I wasn't expecting the chapter to start like that. I really wasn't. I thought it'd be more of a thing where they are thinking about it and they want to become it. But at the same time, we may get that explanation later because I want to know why Trunks and Goten are becoming heroes. Like, what is the purpose? What is the reason that they chose to become crime fighters? It's the right thing to do, and with great power comes great responsibility, and Goten and Trunks certainly have great power in comparison to regular thieves that have no key. But why did they choose to become? Are they just bored? There's got to be a reason. And it appears like there has been a time skip. Because if you remember, Goten and Trunks in that bonus chapter during the Moral arc, if I remember correctly, we're still kids. Which means that there has to be a time skip at some point after Black Frieza to this. Because they're already like teenagers pretty much. We didn't even see them like, grow. They grew off screen, which is okay. I mean, we saw Gohan grow off screen in between Cell and Boo. But there's a time skip here without question. I just don't know how long of a time skip. But we're about to enter that superhero near end of Z territory. So moving on, Herms writes, the thief threatens to shoot them, but X1 easily crushes the gun. Don't make the town any dirtier. Take your garbage back with you. Knives also prove ineffective against the hero. Well, of course that's not going to work on Goten and Trunks, dude. Do you know who their dads are? Come on now. It's funny though. It's dangerous to swing those around. The thieves can't stand losing to guys like this, but they do. I mean, of course they do, bro. Of course they do. We're talking about Saiyaman X1 and X2. The new Saiyamen, bro. I ain't gonna lie, that's pretty dope. Like, it's nostalgic, but I don't think it's pandering nostalgia. The next post, Herms writes, the thieves surrender and X1 and X2 celebrate. Cleanup complete. Up on the rooftops, they unmask. It's Goten and Trunks. I mean, yeah. It went perfect. They nailed their poses and everything. Maybe they're too similar to movie superhero Clean God. Oh well, they're a duo. It should be fine. Movie superhero Clean God. Is that like a fictional thing? I don't recall that being in Dragon Ball before. That's interesting to say the least, but maybe that I thought they were trying to idolize Gray Saiyaman because we know Goten and Trunks were kind of fanboys for Saiyaman in Z. So I mean, I don't understand why they wouldn't just, I don't know, but or maybe Hermes is making a joke that I don't get. Either way, of course it's Goten and Trunks. Of course it is. So Goten's phone rings and there's another robbery, but this time it's a cyber attack stealing personal info. That's interesting. That's very realistic, right? That kind of happened to Toei earlier this year. The irony. So it's not something they can handle. Trunks isn't good with computers, which is weird because he works for Capsule Corp. His grandpa founded Capsule Corp. You would think he would know computers. Trunks says maybe the age of superheroes is over, but Goten thinks it's good things are so peaceful. Okay, I mean, the name of this chapter is like the birth of the superheroes. So that's definitely what's going on here. I mean, that's definitely the story here. But it's just funny because they can't solve a cyber crime. Okay, fair, but come on. I don't know, it's weird to me. You would think they'd be able to do that. Okay, so this is the last page of the translations from Herms. Because there's a lot of dialogue in these draft pages. There's a ton of dialogue here. This is when Chi-Chi called. He writes, Chi-Chi calls and chews out Goten for not being home yet. The two keep their superhero gig secret from their families so they can't get a transformation watch like Gohan's. They're going to get one eventually. We saw that in the the art that was released. They're gonna end up getting one and have to change clothes the regular way. But Trunks says he'll ask Pilaf to make them one. So he's gonna ask Pilaf of all people to make them one. And as you can see right here, they're waving towards the camera, and there is King Toon, aka Flying Nimbus. We have not seen that cloud in a very, very long time. So there's a lot of early Boo Saga nostalgic fun here that I'm all for it. I really am. And I don't know if they can keep up this stuff for a long time, maybe 5, 6, 7 chapters, maybe less than that before we get into the real superhero stuff. So, of course, there will be spoilers coming up later this week and early next week on the channel. So make sure that you are here for that. And I've got some really badass videos coming your way. But for now, thanks for watching. Take care, and let me know what you think about this first chapter of the superhero arc. See you soon.